Like I remember waking up and I was in the hallway, like crying, face to the wall, just crying for no reason. Like I had no idea. Like I was having a meltdown.
Had 2 children in Italy, and no family was able to be there when I delivered. So I definitely was leaning on our military family to help us. Like we thought we were going to come home to Oklahoma and have all this family here and everything, people we knew all these years, and it just didn't look the way we expected.
All right, folks, welcome to the Eagle Ops Rally Point podcast. And today we have an amazing episode with the Pickens family, personal friends of ours, retired Army First Sergeant, Ranger. So I got to make sure to plug that. And Miss Amanda Pickens, spouse, wife, mother, and Army veteran herself. So today we will be speaking about their transition out of the Army, coming back home, and the struggles that they went through, as well as how they plugged into the Eagle Ops Foundation all the way across the U.S. From Vermont. And that's that great transition. So we have a very good show dialed up for you today. Mike, Amanda, I'm going to lead this off with just give us a little synopsis of your career, Mike. Obviously, you spent a few years in the Army, and Amanda in tow, I think, and we'll kind of go back and forth between you two. Obviously, you both are Army veterans, and just want to hear your story in regards to the military itself.
All right, so thanks for having us. We'll start with out of high school. Typical party too hard in high school and didn't really have a career path lined up, so I was like, well, let me join the Army and go do something fun. It was in the Army. I was stationed at Fort Bragg, and I met Amanda. From there, we got married, went to Korea. I went to Iraq and Kosovo and Afghanistan and deployed. Then our last duty station was Italy, the last tour, and then retired from Italy to Vermont, and then decided that we needed to be closer to the Midwest and started shopping where we wanted to land, and Oklahoma made the cut, and so we moved to Oklahoma.
What did you do in the Army?
So in the Army, I was 11 Bravo. I guess I started as an X-ray, 11 X-ray, so I could have been 11 Charlie, Mike.
People don't know what that is.
So 11 Charlie was a mortarman, 11 Bravo infantry. Mike was the drivers. So when I went to basic, I was an X-ray. I could have been anything. Mm-hmm. Ended up as a Bravo.
Yeah.
Through basic, my drill sergeants came in and said, hey, we have 8 slots for airborne school. We're going to take the top 5 or 6 guys, and there's 4 slots.
Yeah.
So we did push-ups in order to get airborne slots. So I got a slot to airborne school. I got a slot to airborne school.
How many push-ups did you do, Mike?
So I did 82 for that one.
82 for the 82nd?
No. that was just 2 minutes of push-ups. 82.
Oh. Just so happens.
Yeah.
Coincidence. Nice. So go to airborne school, get stationed at Fort Bragg, and then I met her, and it's history from there.
Well, you also went to Ranger school soon after that.
You want me to tell
Is that nice? Is that an auto? I'm just curious because obviously as a Marine, I don't know, but is that an auto thing?
No.
Like you have to go. There's like a selection process and application.
There is a selection. You have to want to do it. Starts at unit level. My unit, I was part of the scout platoon, the recon platoon, and we did the Ranger PT every morning for guys who wanted to go to Ranger school and go to the pre-Ranger course there at Fort Bragg. Regardless if I wanted to go to Ranger school or not, I was doing the PT because my squad there was like, you're doing it. So I was like, okay. So that's how I got, I put in to go to pre-Ranger school at Fort Bragg, passed at Fort Bragg as PFC, got selected, got the next class at Fort Benning, and I went straight through as a PFC and graduated as a PFC.
So was that a goal for you when you joined the Army, or was it just
I had
something that
no
kind
idea.
of, yeah,
They showed me the Ranger School video at the recruiting station. I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. I
yeah,
had no clue what it was.
yeah.
So
So it wasn't something that you went in and you were like, this is a plan for me. It
No.
just kind of like,
there was no plan.
there
It
was
was
Going
just
in,
whatever.
I'm getting my tab.
Yep.
I'm getting in a lot of trouble out of high school and I
Yep.
need to
I
go
gotta
somewhere
Go
and
somewhere. So that's where
channel the energy.
exactly.
Totally know that one.
Okay, Amanda, so we heard a little about how he got started, but you guys didn't know each other before the military.
Right.
So tell us about your decision to join the Army and kind of what that looked like for you before you met Mike.
Right. Okay. So, so I got interested in the military during Desert Storm, which was I was about in 7th grade. This is gonna start telling my age, but whatever. I was very intrigued by that war. I had that newspaper forever. The invasion, I was just very intrigued by it. And soon after, I joined the Civil Air Patrol, which in Broken Arrow, they didn't have, at the time, they didn't have junior ROTC. So the next best thing was Civil Air Patrol. So I started doing that and just got very intrigued by it all. I actually became the Broken Arrow Cadet Commander.
Mm-hmm.
And, I always joke, like, I was just I was the opposite of him. I was very much a goody-goody. So, I was making all the right moves, and I was actually selected in my high school to go to the Mabee Center where they had all the military colleges, the academies there. And I was like, I felt so thankful that they picked me because they only picked like 10 people, and I went to a big high school. So anyway, I went there and I got totally intimidated because they put me in a bus or a van with West Point cadets, and they were like, "We hate women, da da da." And I was like, "Okay." So I kind of was like, I think I don't want to spend my life doing that or spending time with those kind of people. And so I just kind of stepped back from that, and I was like, no, maybe that's not what I want to do. I didn't have a good home life. And I didn't really have anybody helping me figure out the college path, even though I definitely should have gone to college. And so anyway, I just moved out when I turned 18. I was going to TCC, which was like very underwhelming for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a smaller high school than you went to.
Yes. And my high school classes were harder than my college classes. So I was like, this is a waste of my time. And my mom called me one day at work and was like, hey, the Army recruiter called and I think you should talk to him. So I did. And I went and took the ASVAB and I scored really good. And they offered me a job. And my recruiter was like, you should totally take that job. Nobody gets offered this job, whatever. And I was like, okay. 6-year enlistment because it's like a year-long training. And I'm like, okay.
So what was that job?
So I repaired medical equipment.
Okay.
So they called it Biomedical Equipment Repair Technician, BMET. And I was like, okay, well, everybody was like flipping out in the recruiter or the MEP state, whatever it was, wherever I was. And I was like, okay, well, that sounds really important. So I guess I'll do that. I had never been interested in electronics, but I guess I tested that I could. So I did
best
that.
recruiting strategy ever.
Right. Oh my goodness. I could see it all now. But
Nobody ever gets that MOS.
yeah.
You're the
Yeah.
only one.
Yeah. No bonus, no nothing. Yeah.
That says,
Here's
I
some
am
special.
really,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
really
sure
short
he-
on my quota. I need a
I'm sure he got a good little bonus. Where are you at, Soren Atkins? Anyway, so then my mom was super mad at me for joining for 6 years. So I was like, I can't do anything right. Whatever. This is so dumb. But anyway, and I remember right before I left for basic, my mom was like, tapped me on the leg and was like, if you don't make it, don't worry, you can come home. And I was like, I'm not coming home.
Yeah.
And every time I thought about quitting in basic training, I was like, nope.
That statement came back to haunt
Not
me.
going home. I will finish this. And that was probably one of my like proudest moments, because I was not an athlete. The physical part was really hard for me. I could do the mental part. I can do the academic part, the physical part was really hard for me. And I was scared to death of all the heights, all of that, but anyway, I did it. So I was really proud of myself.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I went to AIT. I was the only female in my class. Super fun, and not fun actually. And everybody was prior service. A lot of them were prior infantrymen. Did not love women.
Favorite.
Yeah, being in the Army again. So I always seem to face this challenge of just like this opposition to women serving, and that did not make for a fun time. But I always felt like this, like I had to prove myself, like extra, which is just ridiculous. Like I can do the job. You shouldn't have to prove yourself extra just because of your gender. And anyway, so I did it. I graduated on time. I never got held back. So I was like, I'm just as good as you guys. I don't know what you think you're so great about, So anyway, everybody was getting their duty stations. Again, I'm the only female, so I'm thinking I'm going to a hospital like they told me, right? Everybody's getting hospital this, hospital that, Hawaii this, wherever, Seattle that, and I get Fort Bragg, 28th Combat Support Hospital. And if you don't know what that is, if you've ever watched MASH, they changed it to a cache, and so it's a hospital in tents. And you have to put all those tents up.
Oh, wow.
And water blizzards and generators, and it's a lot of work. I mean, it sounds nice, like, oh, you're intense, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I was like, why did I get Fort Bragg? I'm the only woman here. All of a sudden I wanted some, female, preference, and nope. So I went to Fort Bragg, and I was like, oh, Lord, I'm going to die. They're going to chew me up. And it was, we supported the 82nd, so it was no joke.
Right. Okay, so that's how you guys met?
Yes.
Okay, so how far into both of your enlistments was that?
I was 2 years or a year and a half in, 2 years in.
Yeah, that's more 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were in 2 years?
Yeah.
I was in a year and a half then. He was in a half a year longer.
Okay.
Because I did a semester of college first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you guys met and you guys decided that you were in for the long haul together.
Yeah.
And
I guess. But we met, and I found out soon after we went on we were friends at first. And then one day he was like, you should date me. And so we started dating. It's kind of a funny story, but
We don't need to talk about
then I found,
we can skip over that.
Yeah, that's another
episode.
Yeah, I'll fast forward there. But I found out they were deploying before he did. Like they were on leave. But I came back, and anyway, I found out they were deploying before he did, and I was like, oh, I am not dating him. Like, I don't want to deal with a deployment. And we only went on one date, so it wasn't like I was breaking his heart, and so I was like, I'm gonna avoid him, like,
She tried.
and he would not leave me alone.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh.
He had skills from the Army. He knows how to track you down.
He did. Yeah.
Rangers led the way. They taught him something there.
Yeah. And while he was in Kosovo, he was like, he would write me because, we weren't like internet.
So we started dating. Our first date was July, 1st of July. And then I deployed in September to Kosovo for 6 months.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah. But he would write me and say, I'm going to get out of the Army. I'm going to go to college and whatnot. And I had I had a 6-year enlistment. So I had like 4 years left. So I'm like, I don't know why I'm dating you then, because I have 4 years left. So what's the point of this,
Yeah.
And next letter was like, well, I re-enlisted.
Right,
Did you do that? Did you do that for Amanda? Or, you did?
Yeah.
For real?
For real.
Wow. That's true.
Now,
right
did
there.
you re-enlist overseas?
In Kosovo.
Are you?
And Iraq.
In Iraq.
Of course. That's deployment cycle. But you're like, I did one. I'm just going to stick it out. Like, at this point.
And it's tax-free if you do it overseas.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Bonus. I mean, but yeah, I guess it was my fault that he stayed in. I mean, he would have got out. Maybe he would have gone to college.
Maybe. Not if I was going back home. I probably wouldn't have worked out very well.
But a lot of his friends did get out and go to college.
They did.
Like, I can think of
a
lot of them.
So then you got married. So what what kept you together through the chaos? Like, explain a little bit like what that was like being married in the military, having children in the military. We were married in the Marine Corps, but we had our son afterwards. So, he served his time and then we came home. So I never experienced that. We had a lot of friends that, were together like that through the military, but you guys were a military couple and then you had children and like you lived the full military experience. So explain kind of like what that was like for people that may not know.
So she got out as soon as our oldest was, like a couple days before our oldest was born. That was 2003. So we were talking about it, and for us as the soldier or the service member, it's just going one unit to the next, So there's you're leaving one situation, but you're picking right back up, and you're in the position, you're taking off doing whatever it is that unit's doing. So there is no, like, I don't know, forgot the word I was trying to come up with, but it's you don't really have time to think about, like, sit and think about, wow, this is stressful and
right. It's just your life.
You just do it,
yeah,
and then forget about it.
Right.
Now, is the Army different than the Marine Corps? Like obviously it is, but obviously it is. But different in the fact of like deployments wise. Like our cycle was every year and a half. We knew we were going overseas. So with a Marine Corps unit that attaches to the MU, the Marine Expeditionary Unit, we deploy every 2 years. And so on a year and a half cycle, we're in that. So when we come home, there's about a 3-month there window of kind of downtime, training time, that kind of stuff, and then we're back in the spool of the next cycle. And in literally 18 months, we're going back overseas. Like there's no question. Your cycle is there's only 3 of us that transition, and so it's every 2 years you're cycling. Matter of fact, whenever I joined the squadron, when I first come in, I was a crew chief, obviously, on helicopters. But when I joined, I taxied them in from the deployment, like when they come back from overseas. Mm-hmm. And so I started that very first. So 2 years later, we were overseas, in the MU, in the Med for me. But in Army units, it's different.
Yeah. Well, the Army's much bigger, so
right.
Depends on the unit and the rotations. Depend on.
And we PCS every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
So you pick up another
duty station,
and go.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were just talking about that too. Like our Navy and Air Force friends, we only knew one Marine friend, and that was at Fort Bliss, the Schnurs. Mm-hmm. But like our Navy and Air Force friends, like they could be somewhere like 10 years. And I feel like that would have been a lot less stressful. Like we moved every 2 to 3 years, and I understand, they needed instructors, they needed recruiters, but really the Army mentality, I think, if I understand this correctly, is like they needed, they wanted, especially for the infantry, to be in different positions, and they would say that it would alleviate toxic leadership, but I'm not sure that it does. But so they would put people in different types of units.
Yeah.
So you guys physically move within units, even depending on the billet and the role that you're in, as far as your obviously a PFC that just comes in or whatever in the Army, you're stuck with that unit until you get rank, and then as you get rank, it's okay, we need you here.
Just if there's positions. So if there's a slot open, you could probably stay. If not, you may be moving to another company, another battalion. Then there's the option to move post. Go from Bragg to Knox or Campbell,
right
on that. But depending on where the rank is, when you get promoted, and how many are already there, and
you guys have much more flexibility than we do.
Mm-hmm. The longest we were anywhere was 3.5 years.
Really, we've got 3 big duty stations.
Yeah,
and that's it. There's a ton of small ones, obviously, around the country and even the world, but the big ones, you get 3, and that's it. And so you get stuck at that unit. You might be there for 10, 15, 12, whatever years. So, and depending on what your MOS is, you're locked in. That's your job. Mm-hmm. So,
which I guess could be good or bad.
Yeah, I always say there's some billets and things you got to go. We still have the recruiting structures and all that stuff. You can still take a billet in certain scenarios, but OBSEC for us, especially on for my particular MOS, good luck getting out of that. I couldn't even take college classes. We were deployed so much or training so much. It was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the cycle is just crazy. Different MOSs obviously played a little different, but
So how much of the time that you guys were together were you deployed? I mean, like most?
So
A lot.
Just add that all up, Mike.
I mean, there's active deployment. I mean, there's combat deployments, and then there's training.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
training. So the last 2.5 years was in Italy. So, and the 173rd supports all the NATO countries. So that's the 173rd's job, is to go train all those NATO countries. So it was gone for 3 months, come back for a month, gone for a month, back for 2 months, gone for 3 months. It was just constant. So.
But the family was with you in
Italy. Yeah.
but he just wasn't there.
You're not there. Yeah. For sure. Same for us. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you add in the school time. I did quite a few different things that she wasn't able to be there, but those were 6 week rotations, and then you got the training rotations, field time, and.
So obviously, you guys spent a lot of time apart.
Yes.
You spent a lot of time, which a lot of people don't really think about. Not just, you think about military families and the soldier that's, out is deployed and the spouse is home, but you don't think a whole lot about the fact that the spouse is home sometimes in another country, in a whole nother state. I mean, without a support system of the family. So you lean on your military family, and they do have good support systems within the military. It is a little bit like you have to search that out a little bit and figure out what that support system is like. And I know it's all different. Like, I know, like, when he was overseas, we got a key wife and, all of those things. I know each branch kind of operates a little bit differently, but a lot the same. But speak to how difficult that is because I didn't live that. I did by myself, but not with kids and all of that, and definitely not in another country and all of that. So speak to how that affected you guys as a couple and your family overall.
Well, I'll say I had 2 children in Italy. So, and no family was able to be there when I delivered. So I definitely was leaning on our military family to help us. Mackenzie, our oldest, was in middle school. So, I mean, it was just crazy. I just can't even say. I mean, when I had my first little one, that wasn't too bad because I think she probably, I don't even recall, stayed the night with friends, or, I mean, people just helped pick up the slack. People brought us meals.
And when you say friends, you mean other military families generally?
Yes. Yeah. And actually that day, the day I went into labor with Claire, was like a change of responsibility for Mike. He missed his change of responsibility. So it's his first day in his new unit.
Yeah.
He wasn't even there. I'm like, I'm sorry, I delivered on the worst day. But the commander's wife, I remember she called and she brought a meal, and the colonel's wife brought a meal. I mean, everybody was just stepping up and helping. And even though they didn't even know us yet, and so even when we first got there, I broke my ankle in a parking lot while I was pregnant with Claire, and the FIRSA, which is a support they put into practice after 9/11, a family readiness support assistant. It's an actual job for the families. Her husband is the one who found me in the parking lot with my broken ankle. But anyway, she called, checked on us, brought meals, too. So just people they just step up because they know you're alone, But I think it was especially challenging when I had my second baby in Italy, because now I have a baby, a teenager, and I'm having another baby in a foreign country with no family,
Yeah.
And I want my husband up there with me.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to watch my children,
Yeah.
So, you definitely have to build your community and your support structure. And I personally found that through the Protestant Women of the Chapel, which is a form of support through the chaplaincy. The chaplaincy oversees that. And I found that about halfway through Mike's career. And those were just some of the most wonderful women, and families. And, they just do, you don't even have to ask, they just do. So I was really grateful for that.
It's always nice about that, knowing that, especially having other military wives and spouses. I know that Jessica, that was one of the things that she fought me on. When I decided to get out, I made the decision, not her. And she was like, not having it. But the biggest thing is we built that family within the military, Marine Corps specifically for us. But it was such a strong group that she's like, I don't want to, I know what's going on day to day. Yes, I know you're about to deploy. Yes, I have some fears, about that, but I know what happens next.
Right? I know who to go to if something happens. I know what that looks like. I know what friends to call, who's going to be here, those kinds of things.
We go home, we don't have that.
Yeah. But I think that speaks to the military community and, a little bit about like what we're trying to build here on the backside, because like you said, people that you didn't even fully know yet were stepping up to be there. And that whole like transition home and how that's not, it's not there. And you're so used to that, especially having spent as long in the military as you guys did. Like you had that, you knew that, structure was there everywhere you went. Mm-hmm. So at least there was that, and so when you leave the military, that's gone. And so that's what I think that it's good for us, like, doing this podcast and getting that information out there to families and people that may not quite understand, the depth of what that sacrifice looks like, not just for you as a service member, but as the families as well. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really important.
I think it's crazy too. I don't know if you experience this. I think you just kind of touched on that, but when you come home, you're saying you don't have that kind of support. I mean, that was like, we thought we were going to come home to Oklahoma and have all this family here and everything, people we knew all these years and have kept in touch with and tried to keep the bridge open. And we thought, oh, we're coming back and it's going to be great. And it just didn't look the way we expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was hard. Like, that was like, people are people and people have moved on. We were gone 22 years. We also have to acknowledge that, we have been gone, but we were gone, I felt like for good reason, and, even siblings, I don't know. It's just really hard. I mean, for family members to be within like a couple miles of us, and then just really not ever reach out. Yeah. Like, I'm like, we're here. And I just thought it was going to be different coming back. Mm-hmm. So we were so happy. I mean, I know we're going to get to that, but to find you guys, to find Eagle Ops, because it just wasn't what we thought it was going to be.
Right.
It was truly the most difficult part for me on the mental side of it, which you led directly into our next question, obviously, and that's for both you, just what was that difficult, truly what was the hardest part of leaving for you specifically, obviously being in for 22 years, and being in the position you were and over so many troops and all the deployments and all the missions and all that stuff. And it's like, sign my EAS and that's over. And you don't, at least for me, I didn't realize, and I didn't put in the time you did, but at that 5 year when I signed and I came home, I started a new mission, but holy smokes, it was completely different. Like, the vision that I had in my mind was something totally different. And mentally wise, I was not prepared for it, in that transition. And I think that was by far the toughest for me. So I'd like to hear your kind of thoughts on that, because you put in, 5 times the amount of time that I did. So
yeah. So transitioning, I didn't really think about that aspect of it. I'm just ready to get out. You're just like, let me sign whatever, get my 214, I'm out.
New missions going home.
So I'm out of here. But then I shortly realized that, what, I missed the day to day. I don't miss the BS. There's a lot, especially being in at certain levels, certain ranks, you start seeing a lot more behind the curtain kind of situations. You're like, this isn't the Army I grew up in, you know what I'm saying? So you get to see a whole nother side and you're like, oh, it's time to go. But yeah, just missing the day-to-day interactions with your guys, and yeah, we did a lot of stupid stuff, but we did a lot of cool stuff too, So
you in your transition, this might get at you in the fillers a little bit here, but you went from like, I always say like my seniors with like, it was daddy, right? Like they're the ones that pointed the direction, told us what to do, when to do it, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Now you get to be dad on the backside. How was that transition?
Well, coming out of Italy, it's a sweet job, working at Norwich University as a mentor. Awesome job for somebody coming out of the military. All I did was enforce the standards. That's what I did in the military. I was like, I could do that with college kids. Piece of cake. And earn a paycheck? Sweet. That was awesome. We just didn't agree with Vermont so much, so that's when we decided to leave. But even then, that part of it, that 2 years that we spent there, I was still putting on a uniform every day. I was still enforcing Army standards, with the cadets. So maybe my transition was more of a gradual versus just a jump off the cliff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I had that kind of transition, slow. So
is that
transition.
almost like an ROTC type position?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was part of the commandant staff. So we handled the day to day. The ROTC instructors handled ROTC stuff. We handled the barracks and all the parade stuff outside of the ROTC program. All the college stuff.
Right.
So
you went from like running a unit to barracks, freaking NCOIC.
Basically. Yeah. So
manage this.
Great job.
It was awesome.
It would be awesome in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been. But
so tell us what it looked like just coming home, the real life in your home, like you don't have to tell us all the behind closed doors things, but like what were the real struggles that you guys dealt with that initial transition home? Like I'm out for good. I'm not going back. What did that look like for you guys?
And was there anything that might have caught you off guard? Like, man, I didn't expect that. I think we kind of hit on a few of those things, but.
Well, one time in Vermont, and it was probably a year into the retirement. Like I remember waking up and I was in the hallway, like crying, face to the wall, just crying for no reason. Like I had no idea. Like I was having a meltdown, and I had no trauma, no triggers. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit of alcohol involved. Probably it got a little heavy there towards the end, but I remember just having that mental like breakdown almost. Like I sat on the couch, had my phone, I was going to call Chappie Shields, I was like, well, I don't know what's going on. Why am I like this, Right. So that was really weird, like to have that kind of breakdown and not know why. Yeah. Like I always felt like I handled myself fine. I didn't have any, not that I know of, not that I consider traumatic, but, I guess 20 years of doing stuff, it does get to you.
Yeah. So was that kind of like a wake-up call that maybe there's more to this, or?
And also part of that journey was not having the resources in Vermont. Like there was a VFW or American Legion, I think it was, and we went to one of their chili cook-offs or something like that, and they just wanted us on the burial team. So it was like, you know what? You didn't even get my name or anything about me, and you want me to just help with the burial team, It's like, nah. And then that was it, that was it for the military community.
Mm-hmm. Even though you worked at a military
college.
Even though
I worked at a military college,
Right. Yeah, I will say, like, we were talking about this recently, that incident. I experienced it a little differently, but for me, like, I just didn't know because, like, I hardly ever saw him.
Yeah.
And it was that experience and some other experiences were really hard for me because, like he just worked a lot. Like even when he was home, like he worked a lot. He was gone before the sun came up and he came home when the sun came down, and like we were lucky to have a little meal with him. He'd give the kids a bath or something, and like he was tired. Like I don't want to say I didn't know him, but I didn't know what he was going through.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I was going
through. Yeah. Yeah.
And like when some things started happening, like we were going to the VA there and things, and they were doing some tests and stuff, and I was like, he would like get mad at the doctor because they would try to do some specific test, you know.
Hold up. The test was, he said, say your ABCs backwards. And
He said, I'm not going to do that.
I'm like, I sound like a dumbass. I'm not going to do that. Crazy. Then it just pissed me off. So I was just like, okay.
There were other tests, and he was the nicest doctor.
Yeah, he was. He was good.
But I started to realize, I think he's going to have a breakdown. Like, I think I'm going to lose my husband. And there was like a lot more to it. There was a lot of drinking. Everybody that we had known that had died by suicide had been drinking. And I just was getting really scared. And I started looking at the situation, our finances, our investments, and all the things. And I said, I think we could move somewhere else. And we started looking at the state benefits also. Because different states offer different benefits to disabled veterans. And so I said, I think that we could move somewhere else and you wouldn't have to work. I felt like he needed to decompress. I felt like he needed to process some things. And he sat there like this for a while and he said, that's his classic Pickens look.
Thanks, honey.
And he said, let's do that. Yeah. So
Sounds good. That's good.
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
And so we started making an exit plan, which required, a little bit of finagling, but we did that. And I think it was the best decision we ever made.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's so healthy now in so many ways, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, as a father, as a husband, I feel like he's in such a healthy spot. Yeah. And so it was a really good decision.
I think that speaks a lot to, from the outside, you look at the Pickens family, you've got the perfect, beautiful girls, you have everything together. And I think that, or at least it appears that way, and I think that really speaks to just for you guys to be vulnerable and open up and say that, what, I was struggling with some things, and that was, there really was a little bit of trouble coming home that I didn't even realize was there, because I would say that his situation was similar in that, like, I was like you, I'm watching this kind of like everything kind of falling apart with him, and I'm like, what is this, and why is he acting this way? Why is this happening? And then, for you guys to be able to say, we have, we acknowledged it, we made a plan, and we move forward, and now everything is better where we're at now. But you had to start with saying, okay, we have something going on. And I think that a lot of veterans don't get there, before things get bad. And you have to start there. And then you say, I've got to make some changes. I've got to find the right people. And that's where plugging into the community here helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think that the adversity that we go through, even through that process, is what wakes us up. I mean, I know for me, it took me a few years to get there.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things that you have to go through those trials and tribulations, right? And then in the end, because that process, what you just spoke about, wasn't a quick one. Like, it wasn't overnight. Like, oh, well, he's having those issues. This is what we need to do. That's not happening.
Well,
right?
and for you got out of the military, but you were still in the military on the other side. So you still had that military community when you got out. Whereas when you both left for good, it just all dissipated. So, I mean, I don't even, like you said, just not even realizing until something hits you like that, okay, wait, I'm dealing with this. And it's a year after I got out. Like, how is that even happening, So, and like I said, his was very similar. So I think that a lot of veterans will be able to relate to that,
The big deal for us, obviously, and we're going to make a transition here to the Eagle Ops and your transition home, but I'm curious to know, and we've spoken briefly about this over the years, that we've known each other, Amanda, and speaking about that transition coming from Vermont back to Oklahoma, you've told me that there is a significant difference in that state and this state, not just in benefits. Obviously, we can look at the numbers and play the numbers. Like, this state's got more benefits than this state. Well, that's pretty easy. But you had talked to me, a few years back about, like, there is like in that environment you're in, it was just different compared to the people you're around, the culture. Like, can you speak to that? Like, not that I'm trying to beat up like Vermont and that kind of stuff, but there was a significant difference, at least in your mind, of what you dealt with there compared to what you dealt with here, just in the people and the resources and the connections. Like, you were looking for something, obviously, coming out of that for a reason. Like, when you got out of the military and had a great job, you liked the job, but the environment that you're in, like I heard you guys talk, Mike, you ever said this, like the neighbors even, like it was different for you.
You're probably not going to want that on your podcast. So,
I mean, it's information. I mean, it's one of those things that the whole point of this podcast is to be able to say, hey, brother, hey, sister, we're here. We've been there and done that. We've got experiences. We've been through it. We know it, understand it. And on the other side, we're connecting with each other and building that camaraderie and bridge and that connection so that we can speak to this. Because if you don't come out and speak to it, like, number one, you can't heal from it. And number two, we can't help you over that hurdle. Because if you're dealing with it and you don't speak to it, then you're just going to do what we are really good about, compartmentalize it and stuff it in our back pocket. And I did that for many years, 5 at least, before, I put myself in a situation where I was about to lose my family, right? And so that's where what's that? Is there any like kind of key things that you might want to share that in that transition? What was you looking for, that coming from Vermont, coming out of the military and coming back here? Like, you guys made a move, and that's a drastic move. Like, you moved all the way across the country for a reason or multiple reasons.
Yeah. We had little kids and a baby, brand new baby. Ella was born in Vermont. So coming here, she was a year old. Things were like, household stuff was going to be a little easier. I'm going to be retired here.
Yeah.
It's more affordable.
It's more affordable. We can focus on what do we, as veterans, what are we looking for? Are we looking for help? Where can we find that help? Start plugging into people and different situations to get that information that we're looking for, whatever it is we were looking for.
And being closer to family is something we were looking for.
I'm just speaking on the veteran side of it. But
oh, yeah. I mean, the VA there was amazing.
Oh, yeah. No.
That VA is awesome up there.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of veterans there. So you have...
The ratio is really good.
I mean,
that's
and their providers were all veterans.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is really...
I think it made a difference.
I think it makes a big difference.
Just to relate with that.
Kind of how that's kind of how Cohen operates too. All their providers are either a veteran or a veteran family member, so they have that, experience.
Now, in the community and that transition, how did faith kind of play? You talked about this a little bit. How did faith kind of come into that community? Did it make a decision on bringing you back here as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Another crazy faith story. Talk about faith. We're retiring from Italy. We're coming home. Well, we didn't close on our house until 30 days after we got back to the stateside. So we're coming with 10, 15 bags, suitcases, giant suitcases, teenager and two little kids.
Mm-hmm. And us.
And
we needed a vehicle.
We needed a vehicle because our car wasn't get here for another couple months, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Army wasn't shipping it for another couple months. So we go on eBay, find a minivan, buy it, sight unseen.
In Miami.
So we fly.
Like Miami, Florida.
Our house is going to be in Vermont.
Okay.
So we're going to make a road trip out of it.
Okay.
We got 30 days.
That's what we do, yeah.
So we fly into Miami. And the guy we were buying the van from has a little body shop. He does refurbishing cars or whatever. So he agreed to pick us up from the airport like 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. Our whole family and all 15
Didn't you
bags.
go there by yourself and me and the girls stayed at the airport?
No, you guys left. I stayed at the airport. He drove you and the girls to the shop that we're going to do all the paperwork. Then he came back and got me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh. And none of us got
It was like in the industrial part of Miami. It was sketchy.
He's an Army
I've been back.
Ranger. It's fine.
But we had to split up. There wasn't enough room for all of us.
There wasn't enough room for everybody to go at once, so I stayed back. And
Yeah.
She went with the girls to this shop. Oh, man.
And we bought the van.
And we bought the van.
And it ran.
And then we bought a house built in 1890, sight unseen, just pictures off the internet, closed en route to Vermont. Got to Vermont the day before we did the final walkthrough or whatever and signed papers.
That is the epitome
Like,
of
looking back,
what a military family would only understand. Like those kinds of
buy a minivan
stories,
off
yeah.
of eBay. Sight
That was
unseen.
my idea, by the way. And my cousin is still driving it. It's
Yeah,
still going.
Still running. It's a good van, but
That was in 2017. I mean, that's almost 10 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Anyway,
and then moving here, kind of the same. We had the same.
I don't think that's the faith story he was looking for, but
Yeah, moving here on faith.
I mean,
On faith, yeah.
you guys survived.
That's part of the story.
Yes.
Nobody got murdered, so it's perfect.
It was just
no,
success.
I mean, faith has been a big part of our life since 2006. It's, I mean, we've definitely had our ups and downs. We've had challenges, in our life. So sometimes maybe it always didn't look like the strongest part of our life, but we definitely have had, strong relationship with the Lord since 2006. So I don't think I could have, either one of us, I say me, but really him too. I don't think we would still be sitting here married without the Lord. So, we've gotten through some really hard things. And, to think about like what keeps you grounded, what keeps you married, things like that. I think about mentors in our life, the Robbie and Nola Thomas, who discipled us when we got saved, and Chaplain Shields, who we know we can call at any time, and many other chaplains that were friends of ours. I mean, there's I could list them, I mean, there's just so many wonderful examples of people in our life. But the coolest thing to me, and he'll never say this, is yes, it's a 20-year frat party in the infantry. And yes, Mike has made some bad decisions sometimes, but his soldiers know he's a man of faith. Mm-hmm. And when they're going through a rough time, when their marriage is on the rocks, when they're falling apart, they know they can call him, and they have. Mm-hmm. He'll get a random message. They hadn't heard from somebody in 5-10 years, and I'm having a rough time, and, whatever. And I just think that's the coolest thing. Like somebody he hadn't heard from. I wish some of them had written him before, some of their hardest times. But there are many that have written him. Yeah. And I think that speaks so highly to his character.
Yeah. And his leadership in the military, yeah.
Right. And that, yes, he was an infantry guy, and that comes with a lot of crazy times. Mm-hmm. You have to be in a certain mental state to go do the things they did. But at the end of the day, he's a man of faith, and he leads our family well. And we've gotten through some hard times, but I think only by the grace of God, because we should definitely not be together anymore. I mean, in the worldview, and if the enemy had his way, and, and not just because of him. I mean, I have had my own shortfalls for sure.
There's a couple.
Yeah, I could count at least 10.
Well, the military life is not an easy one to live married, and a lot of couples don't survive it. So that speaks a lot to you guys' determination to stay married as well. So congrats to you for doing so.
Something we were talking about, staying together through all that. We both early on said, we don't have family. We can't just run home if we don't like each other at that moment. We have to figure this out.
Yeah.
We have to stick it out.
Yeah.
And we continue to, either we're dumb or it's working, and whatever it is, we just keep, we don't give up.
Yeah.
You've told me a little story about looking at the benefits. You guys said it earlier about the benefits coming from getting out of the military and then transitioning back from Vermont to Oklahoma. The one thing you told me that's always stuck with me is that you found us online. Mm-hmm. And so back then, I mean, we're talking
2019.
Yeah. So
you guys were still pretty new.
7 years ago, 7 years ago. And Jessica and I were still working day jobs and doing this stuff on the weeknights and weekends. And it was Jessica 100% on Facebook. And we had a basic website It was a spinoff of my company website that it was like a few pages kind of thing. I mean, I don't think we really had it, obviously not built out like we have today, but tell us about that story. Like how that make that connection, and then what kind of,
Yeah.
okay, we need to connect with these
Yeah.
knuckleheads.
So I just started like, I don't know, looking up probably on Facebook, like Oklahoma veteran organizations, and I found you guys. And like immediately it was like alive at the range. And I was like, Mike, come look at this, and he's like, yeah, that looks cool. And I'm like, we've got to do this, and then like every time, so I started following you guys, and like every time a live would come on, I'd get a notification, you guys used to do a lot of lives.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'd say, this looks just so cool. And I don't remember, like, I probably found you in April and we didn't move till July or something like that. Cause it's like we had made a decision to move. And so anyway, yeah. And so I was like, we've got to do this. And Mike is just not a social butterfly. I don't know if you guys have picked up on that in the past
Early
7
on.
years.
Yeah, pretty early on.
So he's like, yeah, okay. But I was like, this looks really great, And so, like right after we moved here, you guys were having the golf nights at Flying T or whatever it is now. And so I was like, let's go. And we went. Yeah. And you and I think Christy, it could be wrong, but we're putting up the flags, and I was like, is this Eagle Ops? And you were like, yeah.
I was like, here's your sign.
No, you said, are you the boss?
Oh, yeah,
And
the
of course,
boss.
Jessica was like, yes, I am.
Yeah, because you always refer to yourself as the boss in the videos. That's what you're right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I was so nervous because I really hadn't been. It's been 2 years since I've been around military people. Really, I mean, yes, Mike worked with one of his former peers, at the college, so there was that one. But like, really, in our community, there wasn't a lot of. We didn't have a military community, so I don't know. I don't know why I was nervous, but I was nervous, silly. But I was like, this is good. And then we went to a range, like you were having
One of the freedom
freedom shoots. And then I saw Pete there. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, I remember
because
that.
I had interned in high school with Pete. He was the vice president at Sitco. And so I was like, Pete, what are you doing here? I didn't even know he was a veteran, because, that had been 25 years before, you didn't talk about Vietnam service.
Right.
I'm glad that's changed.
Yeah. So you guys met us.
Yeah.
And then you came to a freedom shoot, and then Mike was like sold. He's like, how do I get involved in this? Maybe that's not how that went exactly, but
Pretty much. Because I shot, competed, and then the next month I was safety in.
Yeah.
So it was a jump right in and
Get it in.
join the crew,
Yeah.
So.
And you did that for a while, and then you guys just got so busy with those girls and all the stuff, and
Sports
but you guys still stay super connected. And I think that not just with us, but you guys really plugged into the community and the resources. Like, I know you and Shep have had a lot of conversations about veteran resources and things like that as you've made you guys' transition back here. And I know there's been a lot of things like that have come along, and you like really sought them out and have done a really good job, not just, using the resources, but sharing them as well with other veterans. Like, you guys continue to serve in your community, not just in service, but after. And I think that says a lot about both of you.
Yeah, Amanda's definitely an unaccredited claims agent at this point.
No, I just want people to make their claims, because, you don't know what you don't know. In fact, we had some friends just come over for dinner Friday, and I had been on the veterans case for years about making their claim, and they came over. They said, we want to come over and tell you thank you. I'm like, are you texting the right Amanda? Sometimes people text the wrong person, Hadn't heard from them in a couple of years. So I was like, are you texting the right Amanda? And they're like, yes, we are, and they came to tell us that their claim had gone through and they were at 50%, and they were so happy and so thankful. And I was like, that's amazing. I'm so proud, so, you should, if you have a service connected injury, you should claim it. It's just that simple. And Shep has really, you guys have really done a good job communicating that, and I try to spread that message as well with any veteran I come across, because, you don't know what you don't know. And I think it's better communicated now, but especially when I got out, that was not really communicated. And I think, like, too, when I got out, like, I had a busy spouse, and so my focus was, I have a baby and a busy spouse, so, like, that's what I'm doing, I wasn't really focused on my stuff. So anyway, so now I just try to help people, and Shep has really done a good job teaching me how to help people. So I'm not saying I'm good at it. I'm just saying I'll tell them that they should do it.
Or at least point them in the right direction. Yes. And that at the end of the day, making that connection is what helps a lot of people. So.
Yeah. I mean, even I saw a cousin at a funeral, and I knew she had been in the Navy, and I knew she had some challenges from her service, and without saying too much, but I mentioned it to her, and I got a call later that she had gotten significant benefits after we had talked, and I had given her some information, and so I was very thankful, and it's life-changing, it's life-changing for people, and I think that they just need to know, like, the information. If they can get the information, then they can make the claim, and I always try to tell people, because a lot of people will say, well, I didn't, well, not everybody, but some people say, well, I didn't go to combat. It's not combat disability.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference, and there is some special pays for that, but this is veteran disability compensation. So, if you're injured during your service, I'm sorry, but they put us through a lot, so sometimes things happen. And so
a lot of things happen in training and all sorts of different things that people don't. Yeah, people, that aren't aware, they tend to always go straight to that. And there is so many other things in the military that happen.
Yeah. I was pulling up pictures to share, and there was a picture from 2009 where he did, like, this. How long of a road march did you do? I don't know. Before
24 miles.
24-mile road march. They came in at, like, 6 o'clock in the morning. The spouses, made, like, food for them. And then a few of them decided they were going to do a strongman competition, like, at 8 o'clock that morning. Like, right after it. I have pictures of Mike, like, pulling a Humvee and all this stuff, like, pulling a Humvee. We don't know why you have back issues.
Pretty strong, Mike.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. But I'm like, you think, like, yeah, he looks fine. I love that sign I see sometimes, like, disabilities aren't always visible, because you can look fine, but
yeah, you don't know how many pills that I ate this morning to try to manage, to look as good as I do.
Right. Exactly.
Most of the time we're struggling.
Well, is there anything else that you guys would like the community to know or to share about your story that you think would be helpful for people transitioning home from the military? Maybe those who haven't got out yet or are about to make that transition. Like, what are the words of wisdom from the Pickens family?
I would say just, get connected, whether you need help or not. Just having that phone number that that you could call if and when you need it. I would say also, we grew up you join the military and it's just PT every day, right? Like, for me, that's a big one, because I let it drop for a couple, almost a year now. So I'm going back into it, but just realizing that having that routine of doing PT every day, doing something strenuous, do it, and don't just get out and be like, I'm just gonna, I'm fine. I'll just muscle through it or whatever, just like make a conscious effort to stay in shape. Yeah. Like I did it. I mean, going to Norwich in Vermont. I mean, that was 2 years that I didn't do anything. I was like, I'm retired, I don't do anything. But of course, that takes a toll too, So by just having that release, that stress release, that dopamine, whatever, the chemical reaction of just doing something hard and physical, I would say stay active,
Oh, I totally agree. Physical fitness on that side, if you're not staying active, then it's one of those things that just the human body needs physical activity.
Right.
I hear it all the time. Obviously, we run the 5K, we do the 5K and all that stuff, and I have every veteran that, it's like, I ran in the military, I'm not running anymore. I'm like, good, just come and walk it. That's okay.
Yeah.
Just get out and do something,
Yep.
and do it consistently, and it'll benefit you.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of people get out and they just say, "Oh, I'm good. I'm not doing that anymore." But
That's
we
what
know
I
that's when the downward spiral,
Word.
spiral. That's when it happens. You get those dark places, and then it's harder to climb out of those.
I think the other thing, like, and Chappie Shield talks about this, and it's really like a part of your oath too, the Eagle Ops oath, is like have the 3 a.m. person, or have the buddy you can call. You really know who you really can call, who you really can count on if you get to a place where you're really struggling. And it doesn't matter what you did or who you are or how long you were in or whether you went to combat or not, like, it doesn't matter. And Shep, you and I have talked about this before, like, typically people don't enlist in the military because they had some great home life. Like, most of us had some challenges. Officers are usually a different scenario, but most enlisted people are coming from some challenging home situations. And so we're dealing with stuff already. And then you put us in other situations, and so, whether it's a military related, emotional situation or even just dealing with stuff from our past, having that 3 a.m. person to call, and don't think that you're not worthy enough just because you didn't do A, B, or C. It doesn't matter. But having that somebody that you can count on. Now, Mike and I, we're like best friends. We're really lucky.
Most of the time.
Until he pissed me off. But we're really lucky because we have each other, But I acknowledge that not everybody has that, and so make sure you have that person, who you can call, because I think that when you're in those hard spots, when you've had a little too much to drink, or you're really hard on yourself because you made a bad decision, or you did something that you think is not recoverable, you have to have someone to call so that you don't go down the wrong path.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's like you said, that's 100% about our oath. We say that oath, and when we first started, obviously it means something to us. It means something to you guys as well. But that promise that you will make that phone call, and I say this all the time, before you make the last call, right? We can't take that back. But a phone call, it's pretty simple. It's you dial a number, but you got to know in your own mind that, hey, I've got someone to call, right? And I think with us creating the opportunities of social events that we do, that's something that I was speaking to actually this morning. Honestly, I was talking to another veteran, and we speak very specifically about military. And I truly, wholeheartedly, you guys know this from my heart, truly, that I believe that we're stronger together, right? And the only way that we're stronger together is if we are that, shoulder to shoulder, stronger together, meaning that I can rely on you, I can trust on you, that you will answer the phone whenever I make that call, or will be there for me. In the military, we did everything. We were required to do everything, with a team, and we were better, faster, more efficient, more effective. We could throw blows 5 minutes earlier, but when first sergeant calls and says this needs to be done, guess what? Guess who's doing it? You're doing it as a team, because we ain't got no choice, one, and then number two, we get it done much more, effectively, efficiently if we do work together, right? And I've been in knocked out drag outs with guys, and then turn around and have a new mission, and the very next day, and we're Johnny on the spot, like backing each other up,
Get over it.
And so you just do that. And the one thing with us, like, I talk to Jessica about this every once in a while, like, how do we duplicate that, right? And I can't put you back through boot camp. I can't put you back through combat and trials and tribulations. But what we can do is create that fun event that says, you know what, I enjoy doing that. I'm going to go try. And then from that, just like you guys did, just come and joined us, at a golf night. You guys weren't interested in golf, Still not, right? And so, but certainly we're the camaraderie, that connection, that military side of things, making that connection, and then it evolved into other things. But the premise around what we do is just a social event to say, hey, here's the carrot, come out and join us from that carrot, from that small little event that we enjoy doing already, we can really start building some camaraderie and some trust and what we call that battle buddy mentality of, hey brother, I'm here, and me and you might not see eye to eye all the time, but when you make that phone call, like when you're hurting, when something's up, you make that call and we step in and we just take care of business. We help each other out. That's truly what the premise around everything we do, as far as the foundation goes, right? We want to create that opportunity so that veterans can feel comfortable, like you, like I was kind of nervous, but feel comfortable to just go plug in with other veterans and do some fun things. And then from that's where the magic happens. I see it now. It's been 10 years for us and going through all of these, rally points that we do, and we look back and we're like, holy smokes, this is, it's grown beyond. The Lord's opened this opportunity for us, and it's grown beyond what we ever even imagined in just a short period of time. It seems like a blink of an eye. And we look back at all of these rally points, and we look back and we were just, at that time, just trying to create fun events because we enjoyed doing them, and I wanted other veterans to come and plug into us. I knew that I was the social guy. I knew I was the network and the connector. But how do I connect with as many veterans as I possibly can? And I was like, well, let's just create fun stuff and they'll come and join us. And if they don't, well, I'm doing some fun stuff and I enjoy it, And I just kept doing it. And then people kept coming and now it's, 10 years later and we look back and all of these events that we're doing and continuing to grow. People like you guys that literally just watched us on Facebook and watched the video. This is going to be an opportunity for us. This podcast is going to be a true opportunity for them to be able to see a little bit about us, what we do, why we do it, how we do it, but also the veterans like yourself that we've touched from all the way across the country that, said, hey, I just caught a glimpse of a video or watched a video, and these look like people that I could connect with.
Yeah.
They've been there and done that. They've been through the trials and tribulations and that's what I'm looking for. So
a couple points I want to say that I like about Eagle Ops. Well, there's a lot of things, but one thing I really like is that I feel like the events don't revolve around alcohol, and I really appreciate that. It's not that alcohol is not, you can have a drink if you want to have a drink, but it's not the focus. And I really appreciate that as, alcohol has been a problem, for our family. And so
all of us.
Yeah. And so it's nice that it's not like, let's sit at a bar all night and like rehash all our trauma from the military,
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. And then you mentioned, being a connector to resources and everything. Like, okay, well, I might come to Eagle Ops and I might not need anything, but I always find someone who needs something and I know who to call. If I don't know, I know I can call Shep and I'm like, hey, do you know, what do I do for this? Or who do I call for that? And so it's not only just going for yourself because it's fun or, it's nice to be around other veterans or it's a community, but you also just are learning. Every time I come, I'm learning about something and then I can help others, and so I think that's really important. And not only for veterans, family members and patriots too. I think it's important that we know like how to connect people and help people that if they are. And I also believe that coming to these fun, easy things like going wakeboarding or playing golf or going shooting, which a lot of veterans enjoy, then it's like if you are in a hard spot, you're more comfortable. As you get more comfortable, then you are more comfortable to say, hey, I need some help in this particular area, Yeah. And so I just think that's just like the beauty of what you guys have done, and built up.
Just kind of naturally happens.
Yeah.
As you grow in relationship. Yep.
And even if they're not comfortable talking to one of you, like they'll be maybe comfortable talking to Mike or I or whoever,
Right.
Then it just gets the ball rolling, And I know there's a lot more systems in place than there were even 10 years ago, that are helping even more. But, when that type of thing happens, but, it's just awesome just how that organically happens just from building those relationships through community and activities, I always say it, and you guys don't describe it this way, but when I describe Eagle Ops, I say it's a positive social connection for veterans.
Yeah.
It's positive.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not going down negative rabbit holes. And sometimes that stuff does need to be discussed, but it's positive forward movement, you know?
Yeah. And that's the goal. I mean, it really is, creating spaces where we're not feeding the vices that you already have, but we're creating a space where you can come and be around other veterans and talk about either your service or just talk about the football game or whatever. Bring your kids along, bring your wife. We want that because they're your connection. And even they may, come and fill out the Battle Buddy check-in and say, hey, my veteran is struggling with this. He's probably not going to say this here, but hey, could you reach out to me and maybe we can talk about this and see if I can, nudge him in the right, or her in the right direction, and, like I said, we're veteran family friendly. I mean, I think that veteran children or children of military families operate a little differently. So I think those kids are a little bit more used to the conversations that happen around a veteran circle and things like that. I just think all in all, I think we want that whole community to come together, and because it is a support system it starts with your family because they're the ones that see you. And then, they can be looking out and you can come to things together and enjoy them, go home. And a lot of times we'll have families that say, I didn't know this specific thing about my veteran because he said this at this event. And I never knew that was a thing. And now I do because we came to your event, and now we can start talking about those things or whatever and working through that. So I think all of that is really positive that comes from just showing up at a rally point.
Yeah, it's one of the unique things that one of our coordinators, difference makers, started out, and now coordinator says that he found family, right? And so he's actually here today sitting in the audience for us, but they talk about found family, and that's what it really comes down to be. It's very unique. In you guys talked about, I came to golf nights, not interested in golf whatsoever, and we have veterans now that are coming to different events that have no interest in the event itself, but have full interest in just hanging out with other veterans. And they've got their own little cliques. It's amazing, because it's those groups, and they're creating their own battle buddies just from that. I mean, I couldn't have written it down any better. You can't script that any better. That's exactly what we want to happen. Just come and join us. You're going to find a battle buddy or a few or, a bunch, I mean, some of these guys are like connected and they're making their own little offsets and spinning off their own rally points. And
Great.
Yeah, it's exactly what we want to do. And in all of the communities around the state of Oklahoma, obviously we're focused here in the state, but, yeah, very cool. It's been an amazing kind of ride. Continuing. It's ever expanding. So Lord's opened up more and more doors for us for sure.
Well, don't grow weary in doing good.
Yeah.
Keep on, keep it
That's
on.
for sure.
We're super grateful to have you guys, not just here on the podcast today, but in our lives. So grateful that you guys decided to find us from Vermont and be a part of our Eagle Ops family and personal friends of ours, and always advocating for us. We're super grateful because you guys have made a tremendous impact in the lives of not just our lives and not just the foundation, but veterans across the state. And I know we didn't go into great detail on that, but you guys have truly advocated for us as an organization because you believe in what we're doing. And that means a lot to us.
We do. You guys are doing good stuff.
All right, folks, that wraps up today's episode of the Eagle Ops Rally Point podcast. Make sure that you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. We are on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to those locations and stay tuned to for the next episode. We'll see you at the next Rally Point.